A very good morning to everyone, and thank you for tuning into the Bulletin this Sunday, the 7th of September 2025. You are listening to the club station of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN, which is operated today from the shack of Stewart ZR1WT in George, Western Cape. It is a beautiful clear blue sky day here in George with a temperature of 13 degrees and 18 degrees in the shack. I can just see I can see from my shack window some cloud developing over the Otaniqua Mountains. This club bulletin is broadcast every Sunday at 8:45 local time on the following frequencies: 145 700 megahertz FM in the 2-meter band, 7.115 megahertz lower side band in the 40-meter band, today via relay from the shack of Noel, ZR6 Delta X-ray. We also have Echolink, ZS6STN-L, and All-Star nodes, and the various repeaters linked via All-Star. This bulletin is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Sandton Amateur Radio Club ZS6STN's YouTube page. In the bulletin today, we start with the SARL general news, followed by club birthdays and club news, the special topic of interest, and finally general call-ins and swap shop on 40 meters, Echolink, and 2 meters. Good morning. This is the South African Radio League News Bulletin for the 7th of September 2025. Good morning and welcome to the weekly news bulletin of the South African Radio League, read by ZR1WT in George, Western Cape. The text bulletin can be downloaded from https://mysarl.org.za/sarl-news. In the news today, the ZS SOTA Spring Weekend 2025. Get ready for the Africa FT4 DX contents. And the flight report on the ZS1ERZ-12 Pico balloon. Stay tuned for more information on these and other interesting news items. So, the lunar eclipse this evening. For more information received from the Bulletin Observatory in Bloemfontein, the lunar eclipse or blood moon will start around about 1728 Central African time, with the full eclipse starting at 1930 until 2053. By 22:55 the eclipse will be over. So don't go to bed early this evening. Stay up and watch the eclipse. Will the eclipse have an effect of radio wave propagation? I wonder if someone can comment on that. The ZS SOTA Spring Weekend 2025. The ZS Summits on the Air Spring Weekend is just around the corner, taking place on Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th of September. The European SOTA Day takes place on Saturday the 13th of September, so there is an opportunity for DX contacts as well. More information is available on the SOTA POTA ZS WhatsApp group. And in the 2025 SARL contest manual, you'll find information about logging your contacts. Please keep an ear open for the activators, most of who will be operating at relatively low power. Working a small pile-up makes the slog uphill worthwhile. So get ready for the Africa FT4 DX context. Get your stations tuned and your software ready. You are cordially invited to participate in the Africa FT4 DX contest, an exciting event designed to promote digital DX activity and highlight the growing use of the FT4 digital mode across the continent. Whether you are an experienced DX chaser or just getting started with digital modes, this is a perfect opportunity to test your skills, make new contacts, and contribute to the SARL All Africa Awards. We have a dedicated category for non-African contests, so everyone can join in the fun. Meet your neighbors and start counting African countries in your log. The contest runs from 1500 to 1800 UTC on Saturday the 13th of September using the FT4 digital mode, and you can work all licensed radio amateurs in Africa and the Indian and Atlantic Ocean islands. There is a separate category for non-African contests. The exchange is a RSQ report and the 4-digit Maidenhead grid locator. Remember, each QSO must be made by a human. The contest is hosted by the West Rand Amateur Radio Club, and for more details contact the WRARC at info@zs6wr.co.za. Also read the rules in the 2025 SARL contest manual. You are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League. SARL National Field Day. Did you or your club participate in the SARL National Field Day this weekend? What about an article and photos for the October issue of Radio ZS? An A4 portrait photo of your station in action could make the cover of the issue. Send your article in MS Word or Open Office. Write to radiozs@sarl.org.za. Please do not use WhatsApp. The flight report of the ZS1ERZ-12 Pico balloon. On Saturday, 16th of August 2025, Stewart ZR1WT, in collaboration with the Eden Amateur Radio Club ZS1ERZ, successfully launched a high-altitude Pico balloon ZS1ERZ-12 from the Eystervrak Point Lighthouse as part of the International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend, ILLW. The payload is a whisper beacon transmitting on the 10-meter band, channel 24 at 20 milliwatts. Within 3 hours, the balloon ascended to 12,320 meters, where it recorded a temperature of minus 30 degrees centigrade and the solar panel voltage of 4.05 volts. From there, it crossed the coastline and began its journey over the Indian Ocean towards Australia. The launch video is available from YouTube, which is, I'll spell it out, youtu.be/Oscar Sierra Whiskey Indi, and then capitals, Indigo, capital Uniform, capital X-Ray, capital Juliet, Yankee Whiskey Oscar, and capital Echo. I know it's a bit of a mouthful. Maybe you got that down. I'll read it out again. It's YouTube, spelled youtu.be/OSW, and then capital Indigo, capital Uniform, capital X-Ray, capital Juliet, and then lowercase Yankee Whiskey Oscar, capital Echo. Initial speed reports showed 107 kilometers per hour on the first day, but in the following days the balloon accelerated to over 200 kilometers an hour. At 7:56 UTC on the morning of Thursday the 28th of August, ZS1ERZ-12 reawakened and confirmed it had completed its first circumnavigation of planet Earth. By Friday night, the 5th of September, it had completed lap 2 of the planet. The first lap took 12 days, and lap 2 took 9 days. Gee, speeding up. It is now just past Madagascar and on its way to Australia at a leisurely speed of 89 kilometers per hour for its third circumnavigation. The total distance traveled so far is 72,000 kilometers and over 21 days. It's great to see the interest and plans from amateurs in Mauritius to launch a Pico balloon soon. Follow the ZS Pico Balloon WhatsApp group for more information. Right, the propagation report. Hannes Kutsia, ZS6BZP, reports that the solar activity is expected to be at low to moderate levels during the week. There are currently 10 sunspot regions with simple to slightly complex magnetic configurations visible. There is a high probability for C and M-class solar flares. If you want to do your own frequency predictions, the expected effective sunspot number for the week will be around 108. The 30 to 10 meter bands may provide some DX fun. Please visit the website spaceweather.sansa.org.za for further information. Finally, a diary of upcoming events. Tonight, a lunar eclipse over South Africa starting at 17:28 Central African Time. 13th of September, the European SOTA Day and the Africa FT4DX contest. 13th and 14th of September, the ZS SOTA Spring Weekend. 16th of September, the start of the SARL 6-meter challenge. 22 September, the Spring Equinox. 22nd to 24th of September, Rosh Hashanah. 24th of September is the National Braai Day and the Sandton Power Hour Tech Talk. 27th and 28th of September, the CQWW RITI contest. 28th of September, the ZS1 QSO party. This concludes the SARL section of the bulletin for this morning. We invite clubs and individuals to submit news items of interest to radio amateurs and shortwave listeners in both English and Afrikaans if possible by uploading the news item at mysarl.org.za/news-inbox or by sending the items to news@sarl.org.za no later than the Friday morning preceding the bulletin date. You have listened to a news bulletin written by Andy Kearns, ZS6ADY, proofread by Paul Johnson, ZS1S, and read by Stuart, ZR1WT. Stay tuned for ZS6STN Club News. The Sandton Amateur Radio Club News. Let's start with some birthdays of club members. Last week we had ZS6EGS Eric Schultz on the 1st of September, a ZS6OG, which is Oliver Garendanios, on the 5th of September, ZS6BOR Barend Roberts on the 6th of September, yesterday, and ZS6CU Clinton Ace also on the 6th. Nothing coming up this week though. Congratulations and hope you had a great day on your birthday. Club news. If you'd like to contribute to the club news this morning, please call in now on 2 meters or All-Star Node. ZS6 is now listening. Okay, nothing heard. I think he's just sent a message that he will do it from HF. So, Noel, if you're ready, can you please try and call in the Sleepy River Camp, ZR6DX. This is ZS6STN.
Yeah, it's actually ZS6GM. All right, Stuart, let's give the chaps at Sleepy River a call. ZS6HI operating ZS6STN field station, ZS6GM.
Thank you very much, Chris. Can you hear us? ZS6STN field station?
Yeah, 59+10. Go ahead, Keith.
Thank you very much, Chris. So good morning to everyone on frequency, and thank you, Stuart. Bulletin well received here in Sleepy River Caravan Park. It has been a record year so far. We have made a number of contacts more than we have previously in previous contests, so we are hoping that this is going to be enough to take the trophy. But we don't know what all our competitors have done yet, so we have made a lot of contacts. It has been very pleasant out here, other than the wind. The wind has been blowing, and that has been shaking the gazebos left, right, and center, and shaking ourselves. In fact, right now I'm holding my hand up in front of the microphone, hoping that I am protecting it from wind a little bit. But the team has been working very, very well. We've had a number of antennas that have been getting into Cape Town, even on 40 meters. So that has been pretty awesome. overnight, Friday night, we had a great braai out here. In the evening, there's a couple of families, a lot of the students came through, they spent time with us on Saturday, the RAE students. We've even had some of them operating, and Timothy, who's 13 years old, has been operating even on the 40-meter band and getting contacts for ZS6STN field station. So that's, and last night, another braai again, and I think everyone's been very well fed. We even had Vaughan up from Port Elizabeth as part of the contest team here, and a lot of visitors from ZS6STN yesterday. It's been a fantastic field day, and we'll hand back to you, Chris, at ZS6GM. This is ZS6STN field station.
Yeah, ZS6STN field station, ZS6GM. Very nice indeed, Keith, and I'm pleased that you had lots of visitors, and very good morning to Vaughan as well, and welcome back to Div 6 for a while at least. All right, Stuart, we'll turn it back to you. ZR6 Whiskey Tango, ZR1 Whiskey Tango, ZS6GM.
ZS6GM, ZS6STN. Thanks very much, Chris, for doing that 40-meter relay. Gee, Keith, you're really coming through well here, through the repeater, etc. So you've both got a good station there, Chris, and the Sleepy River setup. I saw some of your antennas on the photos. I noticed there's a Yagi there. Gee, right out in the field, you've got a Yagi up there. Well done. Anyway, thanks for that feedback. It sounds like you guys are really doing well. So we're going to move to our special topic of interest now. A new air-gapped computer attack uses SATA cable as an antenna to transfer radio signals. I found this article in the Hacker News by Ravi Laxman. Firstly, what is an air-gapped computer? Let's take a closer look at what an air-gapped computer is. In short, it's a computer that isn't connected to any internet, or network rather. By this we usually mean the internet, of course, but to be a proper air gap, there can't be any network connection whatsoever. No LAN, no Wi-Fi, no office extranet, no printers, nothing. The air-gapped computer or system has no contact with the world other than physical access by authorized person or people. The term comes from the idea that there's a gap between your computer and the internet, which is filled with air. The other term for this is air wall, which is better than this conceptual air gap, as you can imagine a wall of nothing separating your computer from everything else. The reasoning is most threats come from the internet, no matter if it's a targeted cyber attack or just the office idiot downloading dodgy files onto their computer. By closing this connection, you prevent hazards from reaching you. But even when a computer is air-gapped, there is a new method devised to leak information and jump over air gaps that takes advantage of a serial advanced technology attachment, or SATA, cables as a communication medium, adding to a long list of electromagnetic, magnetic, electric, optical, and acoustic methods already demonstrated to plunder data. Although air-gapped computers have no wireless connectivity, as already mentioned, we show that attackers can use the SATA cable as a wireless antenna to transfer radio signals at the 6 GHz frequency band. Dr. Mordecai Guri, the head of R&D in the Cyber Security Research Center in the Ben Gurion University of Negev in Israel, wrote in a paper published last week. The technique dubbed SATA-N takes advantage of the prevalence of the computer bus interface, which makes it highly available to attackers in a wide range of computer systems and IT environments. Put simply, the goal is to use the SATA cable as a covert channel to generate electromagnetic signals and transfer a brief amount of sensitive information from the highly secured air-gapped computers wirelessly to a nearby receiver more than 1 meter away. The air-gapped network is one that's physically isolated from the networks to increase security. Air-gapping is seen as an essential mechanism to safeguard high-value systems that are of huge interest to espionage-motivated threat actors. Dr. Guri is no stranger to coming up with novel techniques to extract sensitive data from online networks, with the researcher concocting 4 different approaches since the start of 2020 that leveraged various side channels to surreptitiously siphon information. The latest approach is no different, wherein it takes advantage of the serial ATA cable to achieve the same goals. Serial ATA is a bus interface and an integrated drive electronics, or IDE, standard that is used to transfer data at higher rates to mass storage devices. One of its chief uses is to connect hard disk drives, HDD, solid-state drives, and optical drives to the computer's motherboard. Unlike breaching a traditional network by means of spear phishing or waterholes, compromising an air-gap network requires more complex strategies, such as a supply chain attack, using removable media, USB stealer or USB ferry, or rogue insiders to plant malware. For an adversary whose aim is to steal confidential information, financial data, and intellectual property, the initial penetration is only the start of the attack chain that's followed by reconnaissance, data gathering, and data exfiltration through workstations that contain active SATA interfaces. The final data reception phase, the transmitted data is captured through a hidden receiver or relies on a malicious insider in an organization to carry a radio receiver near the air-gap system. The receiver monitors the 6 GHz spectrum for a potential transmission, demodulates the data, decodes it, and sends it to the attacker, Dr. Guri explained. As countermeasures, it's recommended to take steps to prevent the threat actor from gaining an initial foothold, using an external radio frequency monitoring system to detect anomalies in the 6 GHz frequency band from the air-gap system, or alternatively polluting the transmission with random read-write operations when a suspicious covert activity is detected. So if your computer screen is doing a strange dance with its brightness, someone is probably stealing your data optically. Well, I hope you found that interesting. Right, thank you to everyone out there listening. We trust you have enjoyed the bulletin today. Please feel free to give comments or any constructive criticism. Thank you to the stations that assisted with relays and broadcasting, and to those who contribute to the content from time to time. Join us again next Sunday at 8:45 a.m. for the regular bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. This ends the weekly bulletin for the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN, which was operated today from the shack of Stuart, ZR1WT. And thanks to Chris for running the 40-meter relay from White River. Always great to get some real HF contacts there. Thank you to all our listeners, and 73. ZS6STN now relinquishes all frequencies for general use.